G'day guys and gal, Rangdan. Not really a word you can say without sounding like you're trying to take the piss out of a Chinese man. China ain't the only people mad about the Rangdan Xenocides though. After all, the topic of today's video is about the Xeno race that nearly beat the Imperium and sodomized the Dark Angels so hard that the Ultramarines became the biggest legion in the galaxy. There's also a pretty legit theory that the death of the 2nd and 11th Legions and their Primarchs is because of the Rangdan Xenocides. If you haven't heard of the Rangdan, then don't feel bad. Neither has Games Workshop apparently, as there exists very little information and absolutely no official art of this very notable Xeno race and war. I mean, to win the war, the Emperor had to open the Labyrinth of Night. Not that you would really know what the hell that was either, unless you're a virgin or you make it to the end of this video. Now that I'm back from my little holiday in Sydney, I'm ready to get back on the horse and go hard with the content, so expect some solid, original content by this guy. Also, the Custodes cosplay is finally coming along, with me having secured some random talented Filipino guys to handle the cosplay stuff that I can't do. Just because my version of the Custodes cosplay is more homoerotic doesn't make it any less awesome. Neither does the fact that I'll be waxing my legs and getting a spray tan for the cosplay either. I am a very secure person. Before we get started, I actually had a really cool Black Friday sponsored thing for you, but they never sent me a tracking link, and I wasn't making any videos during the Black Friday period, so it's been an absolute disaster. Just thought I would share that with you, so yeah, instead of promoting cool stuff at a discount, I'll take this time now to instead get on my dirty knees and perform pridefully beg, address you as an equal when I request that if at any point in this video you laugh or crack a smile, then consider chucking me your subscription. Naughty things are happening if we get to 150k by the end of the year. Today I will go over what we know about the Imperium's deadliest conflict prior to the Horus Heresy, the Rangdan Xenocides. We will cover the Rangdan, who fought in the war, and what the opening of the Labyrinth of Night actually means. Let's get into it. Let's face it, during the Great Crusade, the Imperium pretty much gutter-stomped everyone in their path. Sure, there were tough battles and spooky Xenos, but for the most part, the Primarchs and their legions of Astartes did some pretty non-consensual stuff to the galaxy in the name of humanity. That was until the Rangdan Xenocides occurred. A series of 3 wars where the Xenos were smarter, deadlier, and more advanced than the Imperium, and genuinely looked to be in a position where they could have caused permanent damage to the Big East conquest. Basically, as the Imperium was smashing its way through everything, their expeditionary fleets annoyed the Rangdan, a highly advanced organic race of things that I don't really have an actual description or pictures of because GW has deliberately left it out, hence every time I want to reference the Rangdan from now on, I'll just use any random cool picture of an alien. These Xenos weren't in the mood to make friends, hence proceeded to obliterate these initial Imperial forces. One thing that has been described about the Rangdan, however, is that their spaceships look like big old jellyfish, so yeah, there you go. The Emperor was like, pardon me, fuckhead, none of that, and deployed the Dark Angels, Space Wolves, a bunch of Titans, a ton of Knights, and hundreds of thousands of Guardsmen. Now one thing that pisses me off about GW is their sense of scale. Like bruh, the Rangdan destroyed a ton of Imperial worlds and potentially killed over 100,000 Space Marines, but you telling me that the Battle of Stalingrad had over double the amount of casualties? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. What I do to make the wars more bearable for 40k is to take GW's numbers and add a 0. I seriously recommend this technique to everyone. So yeah, let's just pretend that the hundreds of Titans, thousands of Knights, and millions if not more Guardsmen were deployed. The details of the Xenocides are very blurry, but it seems like the Imperium was losing hard from the get-go, hence the Death Guard and the Warhounds, who were the World Eaters before Angron put fucking nails in their brains and turned them all into unlikable dicks, joined the war alongside the Emperor. Now the Rangdan also seem to be in some kind of alliance with the Slaw, another mysterious race of Xeno that we at least get a couple artworks of. This is bad news as the Slaw are a bunch of dicks, however it does paint the picture of the Rangdan in a better way. You ready? I believe the Rangdan were the 40k equivalent of Cthulhu and other Lovecraftian horrors. If that's how it was, then it makes sense that the Imperium would have a really shit one on this. No amount of gene seed is going to keep you safe from the god of tentacle hentai. As I said, there were 3 separate wars required to send the Rangdan to the Gulag. The line is a bit blurry when one war ends and the next one begins, But basically, the first war was when the Imperium fought the Rangdan on one of their heavily fortified planets. The planet was so well protected that the Imperium thought it was their home world. In reality, it was just like a scouting world. The Imperium were able to wipe out the planet though. The next two wars kind of blurred together, but basically the Rangdan tore through the Imperium and were eventually held back by the growing Imperial defense. The Death Guard suffered a lot here and begun recruiting Marines who were not even born on Barbarous, purely so they could keep their numbers at an acceptable level. This massive war was also the one that raped the Dark Angels and Space Wolves, but mostly the Dark Angels, who lost about 50,000 Marines. There was also an Imperial Knight House that lost 50 knights in one of the climactic battles, and they were really dramatic about it. They even needed the Emperor to pat them on the back to calm them down a bit, but like, boo fucking who, you lost 50 knights. 50 Ugandans probably died of AIDS last night, and you don't see much of a ruckus about it. The Rangdan Xenocides got so bad that the Alpha Legion revealed themselves to the Imperium for the first time by coming to offer their aid to the Lion. This high casualty rate, you know, if you can call 50,000 Marines and 50 Knights high casualty when dealing with a galactic conflict, were not in vain however, as the Emperor had returned to Mars to open the Noctis Labyrinth, or the Labyrinth of Night if you want to use English like a normal person. Now, what was in the Labyrinth? None other than the Void Dragon, one of the most powerful beings in the universe. Nice. Now Games Workshop have made it pretty unclear what the Emperor did with the Void Dragon to kill Cthulhu, but I know exactly how it went. The Big E, Master of Mankind, entered the dragon's lair beneath Mars. He shouts, "Void Dragon, return!" causing the legendary Catan to be absorbed into the Emperor's golden Master Ball. He then quickly travels to the Lion, who is desperately trying to hold Cthulhu off. The Emperor shouts, "Void Dragon, go!" And the greatest Poke battle of our generation commenced, with the Void Dragon overcoming Cthulhu and finally helping to exterminate the Rangdan, ending the Rangdan Xenocides. That might have sounded silly, but until GW posts something more detailed other than "Rangdan strong, Emperor stronger," that is official canon. If you disagree, you can suck my cock. The Rangdan Xenocides had a profound effect on the Imperium. The Dark Angels were easily the strongest legion prior to fighting the Rangdan, but now they had just lost a fat chunk of Marines, allowing the Ultramarines and Sons of Horus to rise to the top because they weren't involved with the conquest at all. The Death Guard and Space Wolves who had also been smashed, meaning these two extremely powerful legions were also knocked down the tier ladder. But most importantly of all, the 2nd and 11th legions could have genuinely died here. It's confirmed that they fought in the Rangdan Xenocides, but the question is, on what side? The Slaw were known for their ability to mind control, and there's a good chance that the Rangdan weren't this super overpowered Xeno race, merely they were a Xeno race that had 2 Primarchs and 2 legions at their command. It's heavily hinted that Lehman was involved in the deaths of the missing Primarchs, and that the missing Primarchs were tragically culled. They clearly didn't die glorious noble deaths for the Imperium, otherwise their records wouldn't be sealed, and Malkador wouldn't have force-choked Horus when he tried to say their names. Lehman was also a huge participant in the Rangdan Xenocides, so there's no plot hole there. I could even go as far as to say that the Slaw were able to flip 2 Primarchs to their cause, hence there was never anything called a Rangdan. They were merely the name of a powerful fabricated Xeno race created by the Emperor as a cover-up. Rogel Dawn goes on record for saying that if the 2nd and 11th Primarchs were still alive, then Horus already would have won. This is really exciting, because if the writers ever choose to tackle the Rangdan Xenocides like they're tackling the Emperor's previously mysterious unification wars and origins, they would have so much material. Primarch fights, Cthulhu, Slaw, Legion on Legion, more Primarch interactions, and what the Emperor actually did with the Void Dragon to end the war. I personally think it would be incredible, turning a small footnote in Warhammer 40k lore into a conflict that is more interesting and impactful than all others bar the Horus heresy itself. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of potential for a different War Master due to the Xenocides. Because Horus never got involved with the Rangdan and the Lions suffered heavily from it, Horus and his legion were able to overtake and outshine the Dark Angels, who were considered the runner-up choice of War Master. I hope you can kind of see how big of an event this was and how much bigger it could end up being. And that does us for today, guys, the lore of the Rangdan Xenocides. I do hope GW eventually come around to fleshing this out. A, because this video would then get a fuckload of views, and B, because if the Void Dragon and Cthulhu do end up having a Pokemon battle, then I'll be getting my dick sucked every second for the next 42 years. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, with only $1 per month giving you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more Xenocidal content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.